hosted at 7 people. I'm Mr. George, and today we are going to discuss about democracy. But before starting our new topic, I have to remind you a very important things which will make you safe, you and your colleague at your home place. As you know, we are in a danger of COVID-19. People are crying over the worldwide. Even as we have to take care ourselves, as we have been advised by our doctors. Make sure that you wash your hands frequently. Make sure when you get outside from your home place to make sure that you put on a mask, family barakoa as we call it nowadays. Avoid to have social contacts. While you have been sent, whether it's a market or a shop, you should distancing yourself to stand 1 meter from one person. After that, let us see our topic. As I told you today, we are going to discuss about democracy. Democracy in our class, it is a third topic after central government and our constitutions. So now we are in a democracy. And in a democracy, we are going to discuss and make two subtopics, which are human rights and part in our country. So today we are going to start with human rights. But before going to human rights, we have to start with democracy. We should know what democracy means and what are the types of democracy. So the first question that we have to ask ourselves is, what is democracy? Wherever you find a word democracy, you have to know its meaning in the government system in which eligible citizens participate in elections of leaders. Eligible person, who is an eligible person? Eligible persons just like your daddy, your mother, your brothers, and other people that you can see. The one who are well-mind sound. It's not unmind sounded. That is what we call eligible person. But it is not all eligible person can be allowed to participate in elections activities. The one who allowed are those who are above 18 years old. As you know, all below 18 years old, we counted them as a child. So when you hear eligible person, should be a one who are able to identify these are good and these are bad, and should be above 18 years old or 18 years old. So now let us see types of democracy. Democracy divided into two types, which are representative democracy and direct democracy. But in representative democracy, we can call it indirect democracy. What does it mean? Representative democracy or indirect democracy is a type of democracy whereby citizens participate in election to elect leaders who represent them in making very important decisions for their lives. That is what we call representative or indirect democracy. But number two is direct democracy. Direct democracy. And in this direct democracy, we may call it participatory democracy. Why it is participatory democracy? We say power lies directly to the people. Power lies directly to the people. In this type of democracy, the one who has the power to make decisions are all people. And this, it cannot participate in all countries over the worldwide, but it should be practiced in a country whereby there is a few number of people. In a country such as Tanzania, we cannot do this. As you know, currently in Tanzania are more than 55 million people. So we cannot participate, all of us, to make very important decisions for our own issues. So we have to take some of us to represent us, as you can see, or as you have been learned in a last topic where you learned about 3 pillars of government, where we have parliament or legislature, we have cabinet or executive, and then lastly judiciary. So all of us, we cannot stand over there. As I told you that in our country we cannot, or we are not able to practice directly democracy. Why? Because we are many, or we are large in number. So we need to have with a few people in all government clusters, so they can present us on making very important decision. So now let us go forward to see our subtopic. As I told you, our topic is democracy, but we are going to discuss a subtopic start with a human right. So the first question that we have to ask ourselves, what is right? Away from human, everybody knows you're a human being. But what is right before going to see what is a human right? A right, we say, is everything which everybody should get. As you can see here, right is everything which every citizen should get. You as a Tanzanian, or anybody that you can see over the world wide, whether it's a Tanzanian, Kenyans, Europeans, whatever you find them are human. They have their own right and they should get it. And it is very important for them to have it. So let us see what is a human right. And a human right, we say, are all the things which each human being deserves to have. What you have, or what everybody have, that is what we call a human right. So you cannot say human right, it is equal or the same with right. There is right and human right. Right, it's everything which everybody should get. But a human right, it's all the things which every citizen or every human being deserves to have. That is what we call human right. In Tanzania, we say everybody should enjoy human right without any kind of discrimination. When I say discrimination, kids know that discrimination is a type of segregating people according to their groups. Some can segregate people in terms of their color, in terms of their physical appearance, in terms of their financial or their personal status. That's, we call it discrimination. So that things it is very dangerous. So in a human being, we say we have to enjoy without or regardless with all things that I have mentioned before. So let us see, in our country we have institutions and organizations that promote human rights. Institutions and organizations that promote human rights. As we can see there, human rights, it is very wide things. And at our home or in a society, you can find some people are going against human rights. So how can we combat those actions of human rights violations? We have to be with some organization where they can stand and make sure that all human rights in our country are observed and are implemented well. So in our country, and these organizations divided in two main groups. Number one, we say is government institutions, and number two is non-government institutions or NGOs. This government institution, we say, these are institutions which have constitutional power to safeguard and promoting human rights. Promoting human rights, and that's one are Parliament and Court. As I told you before that, our country or our government formed by 3 clusters or pillars or branches, or are the same things. When you say Parliament, it's just like saying legislature, and when you say court, you are talking about judiciary. So these are very important key or important institutions that have an aims to make sure that all human rights in our country are well promoting, are well protecting. So let us see these 2 parliaments and court. What are they doing to make sure that the human rights in our country are presenting? What parliament do on a human right, and what court do for the human right? So let us start with parliament. Parliament do the following. 1, enact laws. In our country, we say that, as you have been seeing in our first topic, they say our constitution, and constitutions, as you have been taught, if it's our mother, laws. So we cannot do anything concerned with law from a village level, ward level, or divisional level, up to district level. All things that concern with right, it should be taken directly from our constitution. So what this parliament do? First is to enact law. If there is anything that should be amended, or there is something that should be corrected in our constitution, the one who has a right to do that, it is parliament. So number 1, it is enacting law. Number 2, protect human rights. All parliament activities, away from supervising all government activities, away from advising government, and all things, but there is one thing which it is very important, it is to protect human rights. Number 3, advising the government, as I told you before, on the best practice, good governance, and human right protection. So human right protections and each and everything that's government performing, but the main advisor or advising should be taken from parliament. Number 2, it is court. What court do for our rights? We say, court do the following. A, receive laws enacted by parliament and put them to use. Example, maybe parliament enact a law concerned with the children's rights. Thus law, it is taken to court and court implement it. But know that a law before signed by government, by president, you know, it is called the bill. So if it is a bill, it's enacted there by parliament that is not taken to court, it should pass on a president's hand, then signed, then it's turned to be a law. And if it is law ready, it should be taken to court, where court have a power to translate it and prepare some what we call some summaries and some we say regulations, some regulations that when someone go against this law should be judged or should be corrected with the court. There is nobody in our country who has a right to judge anybody, who has a right to be over law. The only one who can translate law, it is court, and our right, it is providing there. Number 2, to implement the law. To implement the law. As I told you, law, it is really taken to court. Now court implementing it. You can find there is many people are taken to court. While people do bad action in a street, first when we report them to police, then police open their files, and those files taken to where? To court. From there, courts are going to give a right to those people. If they are doing wrong, they should be judged according to their action. And if they are doing well, they should be even judged according to their deeds. Number 3 or C, to make sure that all human rights are observed, regardless of age, religion, sex, color, and social status. So on this one, it is very important to be kept in your mind. So right, it should be given to everybody, regardless. When I say regardless, without care. That person, maybe it's a lady. Always we have a say that ladies first, but in terms of law, there is no lady, whether she's a first or not. When she did a bad thing, should be judged according to her action. But religion, no matter you're a Muslim, Christian, or Buddha, or Hindus, if you are going against our law, you should be judged. Sex, even sex, it's another point to be considered. No matter you're a man or women, while you did the wrong things, you have to be judged. Color and social status. In a color over here, you can see maybe we blacks or we Africans, when we are outside of our country, maybe let's say outside of our continent, just like Europe or America, there you can find our white people. So, are they supposed to be judged the same as we are judging in our country? The answer it is yes, because they are human. So if they are human, they should be judged according to what they have done, without care. Maybe they are white or black. So when we say regardless of color and even social status, maybe the one who has the money, you can do something, you can violate a right with someone, so you have to be judged according to your action. So let's see number 2, which we call the non-government organization or institutions, NGOs. And in Tanzania, there are several numbers of non-government organizations that are promoting and preventing human rights. These organizations are, let's see, number 1, we have Legal Human Rights Center, in short form LHCR, and this we call it's a non-profit. When someone says non-profit, I mean it's an organization that runs its activities without expect money or profit from its actions or from its activities. So why we call them non-profit? Which strive to empower public and preventing human rights. There is a word here, strive. You can ask yourself, this word, what does it mean, strive? This is just like saying, which aims to empower public and preventing human rights. So this Legal Human Rights Center, the most important aim of it is to make sure that human or Tanzanian are going to be empowered in terms of different things, just like giving things we call it advocating help, while one are going to be discriminated or one may be passing violence. That's what we say this organization should give a help. So what are the objectives of this one? The objective of this one are A, to create legal and human rights awareness. To create legal and human rights awareness. These are very, very, very important things. It is not all of us we know about our rights. Some of us we know only that what we call basic rights. When we get them, maybe food, clothes, then we have a place to sleep, we just say it is enough. No, there is no need for us to add more things from there. But there are many rights. So that's legal rights, legal human rights awareness. It is given by these organizations. They just give people their rights. Sometimes you may walk on a street over there, you just find that people are shouting to you, that is against human right. When you are on a street, you just find that one insulted you, that is out of our human right. So you have to know, if someone do this or do that, it is out of my right. So am I supposed to go and report somewhere if there is somebody maybe abused me in terms of word and other action that can make you feel uncomfortable? B, make a close follow-up on a human right violation. Make a close follow-up on a human rights violation. And these ones can happen everywhere, especially at our home place. There is something we call it domestic violation. You have been taught in standard 5 and standard 6 on your rights, human rights. There is things we call it domestic violation, and that's one happening at home. Some of our parents or your parents are very rude. When they come back from home or from job, they keep on insulting our mothers. They keep on beating them. Sometimes they just chase them out from their home. So you can find there is a big number of people living in a single parent family. As you can see, one with a mother or father only. That is a problem caused by, I think we call it domestic violation. So this one, make a close follow-up on a human right violation. And this one mostly is happening at home. You may find at your area there, maybe there is one who stayed his or her alone at home, but there is something that's caused him or her to have in such situation she or he are. Number 2, we say Tanzania Women Lawyers Association. We call it TAWLA. This, even it is non-profit organization, as I said there before, this organization, it is not work on behalf of making money. All of their activities is to help community or societies in terms of their rights. And this one, it's established on 10th May 1989 to educate women and children about their rights. And this, it is just like a fever in our country. One who are affected with the human right in this group, women and children. I mean you, and even whether your mother or your grandmother. And a real examples may be like this. When your parent passed away, here I give example, it is not true. Maybe father died. The one left it behind is your mother. And your father left a house and some things, valuable things are on the earth here, on the world, as inheritance to you or to your mother. But some peoples, especially fathers, siblings, come and chase away mother and started to own all things that your daddy left it behind. That is what we call it a violation. So that's mother, that's people who are come to chase a mother out from her husband's house. They just go against her right. So there is a group established directly to make sure that our children and such women are going to be helped. We are going to see some activities of these organizations. As I told you before, let us see objectives of what? Of TAWLA, or Tanzania Women's Lawyer Association. This one, we say A, to ensure equal rights to citizens. To ensure equal right to citizens. As I told you before there, if right, it's everything everybody should have or should get. So this organization is first of its responsibility to ensure equal rights to citizens. B, to raise awareness on children labor issues. You can see and you can observe with your own eyes. When you keep on walking at a street there, you may find the same age child with you walking around, whether with bananas, basin, or maybe walks with a bucket where there is a groundnut there, and all things that they keep on selling at the street. You are from the school, and that's one are from the street selling some things. I think which it is not right. So this organization established directly to come and see how and what are the children labor and how can we avoid those child labors. That is what we call to raise awareness on children labor issues. Number 3, let us see, to provide land right for women and children. Let me take you back from my first explanation. So while your dad passed away, left land, left anything which it is very valuable, you can find people are going to take it out from your mother's hand or from even your hand, and you are going to remain with no home, no land, no money. You are going to keep on walking around the street there. So where you may find there is a big number of street children, but that street children, they have been caused with such actions in our world, in our communities. So from that to organization that we have discussed, there are many organizations. According to time, let us see this one here. There is number 3 that we call Tanzania Media Women's Associations, TAMO. Number 4, Tanzania Gender and Network Program, we call TGNP. And 5, we have Women Legal Aid Center, we call TWLAC. All of these organizations here have been established with the same objective. The main objective of this organization is to prevent or to safeguard a human right away from preventing them, but even to create awareness to the community or the people. How can they be able to know their own right and how to live without going against other human rights? To there, let us end it here. In the next lesson, you are going to learn the last point that we call Commission for Human Rights and Good Governance. That it will be the last one, and you are going to learn it in a next lesson. But after this lesson, you are going to have an exercise concerned with what we have learned. After these lessons or end of this lesson, I would like to remind you once again, as I did before the lesson, Corona, it is still there. So you have to make sure that you protect yourself and protect the one that you love. Avoid make unnecessary movement. Wash your hand frequently with a clean or running water. Or if you don't have water, make sure to apply sanitizer on your hand. And when it is necessary for you to go out, make sure that you put on barakoa. So why to avoid the coronaviruses to pass to you. Thank you and see you.